When it comes to keeping your MacBook in optimal physical condition and running well for years and years to come, there are a lot of old wives' tales out there. You shouldn't leave your MacBook plugged in. You should use a keyboard protector to prevent dust from getting trapped under the keys. You shouldn't buy an Apple Silicon Mac with 8 GB of RAM because it could wear the SSD out faster. There are countless tips and tricks that you can find across the internet or unspoken between tech enthusiasts to keep your Mac running well. But how many of them are actually true? Well, today we're gonna cut through the myths and distill down the best practices to keep your Mac running at its best. But before we get to that, a word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by MobVoice TickNote, the world's first agentic AI note taker. TickNote is designed to let AI work in the background to make your life easier. With one tap, start recording and transcribing in over 100 languages. Record meetings, interviews, medical consultations, lectures, and more to make sure that you don't miss any information. Use MobVoice's powerful AI to extract key takeaways, generate to-do lists with action items, and even use the mind map feature to visually represent the content and structure of your recordings. And TickNote even features live transcription, so as your meeting is going on, you can see a transcription generating in real time. Additionally, the Deep Research tab can give you next steps and recommendations for further investigation. And for even more productivity, you can enjoy all of these features through their web app, where you can also chat with Shadow AI to help you dive into the meetings, for example, finding exact timestamps for certain parts of your discussion. So to learn more about MobVoice TickNote, check out the link in the description down below. A big thanks to them for sponsoring, and now let's get back to the video. Now, the first topic that we need to tackle is protecting your MacBook. Drops and spills are a great way to end up with your MacBook on my channel trying to fix it. But the biggest myth I want to dispel is that you should buy cases and accessories to keep your Mac clean and free of dents and scratches. A lot of people use these rubber keyboard covers to keep dust out, and they cover the outside of their MacBooks with hard shell plastic cases to keep them free of scratches and dents. But here's the thing, these types of cases and keyboard protectors can actually do more harm than good. For one, the tolerances on a MacBook's display are very, very slim, and they often don't have enough room for a rubber keyboard protector without it rubbing against the display. Now, obviously that can lead to the oils on the keyboard protector transferring onto the display, leaving those unsightly smudges. But in much worse case scenarios, if there is pressure on the display and you have something on your keyboard, it can actually cause the panel to crack. Similarly, while hardshell cases can protect against the occasional scratch from having keys in your backpack, for example, they often don't provide very much protection because they don't absorb energy. This seems kind of counterintuitive because for most people, when you buy a new phone, the first thing you do is put a case on it. But those cases have been rigorously designed to absorb impact. They have soft corners, or they have metal rings that go around the camera bump to protect it. These hardshell cases don't really offer that protection because they're rigid and they're very thin. And in fact, dust and debris can work their way inside of these cases where they rub against the surface of your MacBook and can actually cause it to scratch. But if you can believe it, it actually gets worse than that, because not only will this case not protect your MacBook, but it will actually impact its performance. The aluminum chassis of your MacBook is designed to help dissipate heat, and covering the bottom with a thick, non-breathable plastic shell can trap heat and cause your Mac to run worse. And that's true even in a case like this one that has these cooling vents. This fanless MacBook Air is a perfect demonstration of this because it relies on that case for passive cooling. And when we put it side by side, it looks like the temperatures are about the same, but when the test completed, I found that the score decreased by about 15% with the case installed. That is honestly a much bigger difference than I was expecting to see. So yeah, these cases are bad news, and the first thing that you should do is rip them off. Or just not buy them to begin with. It's probably easier. But look, I don't want you guys leaving your MacBook completely unprotected because drops are a thing that can happen. However, most of the time when you drop your MacBook, it's probably going to be closed. So the best way to protect it is with a laptop sleeve. These are gonna offer way more drop protection than any hard shell case, and the interior is usually soft to prevent scratches. And as for your keyboard, I would recommend using a thin bristle brush or even a paintbrush to clean dust out of your keys. These tools are going to be easily able to reach underneath the keycap to remove debris, and they don't run the risk of cracking your screen. Next up, I want to talk about cleaning your Mac. And this isn't so much a myth I want to dispel as a simplicity that I want to impart, because there are a ton of different ways that you can go about cleaning your computer. However, I have found that for most cases, in normal use, the simplest way is the best. First, you're gonna want a microfiber cloth and some lens cleaner. Anything will do, but make sure it's specifically for lenses and not a harsh chemical like window cleaners. Then we'll fold the microfiber towel and spray cleaner onto it generously. Next, wipe the display. You should see some damp streaks as the lens cleaner breaks down the oils and debris on the surface. And then you're gonna turn the microfiber cloth over to the dry side and use light pressure to dry and polish the screen, removing the remaining oils and cleaner fluid. And that same method applies to the rest of your Mac as well. A damp microfiber cloth with gentle swirling motions will be more than enough to get most smudges and dirt out. Unless your MacBook is as bad as this one, in which case you might need a little bit stronger stuff. Now, obviously, keeping your Mac clean and protected from dents and damage is a great way to make sure it'll last a long time. But you want to maintain the internals as well as you maintain the externals. So let's separate fact from fiction to figure out what you should do to keep your Mac running for years to come. Now, the first myth that I want to dispel is this rumor that Macs that have Apple Silicon processors and 8 GB of RAM should be avoided because they can wear the SSD out faster. Now, this story comes from a technology that Apple Silicon is able to use called memory swap. Basically, once your unified memory has filled up, the Mac is able to use the SSD storage temporarily as a way to pick up the slack. Now, obviously that means adding additional read-write cycles to your SSD, and a lot of people are concerned that by doing that, they could wear the SSD out faster. And obviously, because they're not upgradable, that wouldn't be great. Fortunately, this really isn't something you need to worry about, as new Mac SSDs are built to last forever. Last year, I took a look at an M2 Mac Mini that was used for testing purposes, and it had over 10 petabytes of data written to its SSD, and it was still operating completely normally. So worn out SSDs aren't really an issue that most people need to worry about. The more pressing matter is, of course, your battery. A worn out battery can be super frustrating, and as a battery gets weaker and drains faster, you'll need to charge it more, accelerating the cycle. But again, here there are some common misconceptions about batteries that we can dispel. The first is that you shouldn't leave your Mac plugged in all the time. Modern Macs will switch to direct power from the power adapter when the battery fills up. What's much more important for protecting your battery in the long term is how you charge it. For example, the new 16-inch MacBook Pros, they come with a 140-watt fast charger, which is capable of charging them up in like under 2 hours. But that puts a lot of strain on the battery. So while that might be useful if you're traveling and you need to charge quickly, I would definitely invest in a slow charger for those times that you want to just plug your MacBook in overnight. You don't need 140 watts to juice your battery up in an hour if you're going to leave it plugged in for 8. So just get a 30-watt charger and let it trickle overnight. This will keep battery temperatures lower, it'll put less strain on the lithium cells, and it could extend the life of the battery overall. And by the way, if you're planning on storing a Mac for a long period of time, let's say you bought a new one, but you're keeping your old one because it has a bunch of stuff on it, store it at 50% battery. That is Apple's official recommendation for maintaining the life of the battery and the lithium cells. Now, the next myth that I want to dispel is a bit more technical. If you spend any time in the Mac repair subreddits or on forums, you'll find a lot of people talking about replacing the thermal paste for better performance. And while that is a perfectly valid thing to do if you want to do it, I think there's a misconception that the thermal paste that Apple puts on these computers from the factory is bad. And that is definitely not the case. The thermal paste that manufacturers use, and this is not just Apple by the way, is designed specifically to last the lifetime of the computer. Because 99.9% of the time, people are not opening up their machines to change the thermal paste. However, once you do that, you probably should reapply thermal paste every couple of years because the compounds that you're gonna buy over the counter aren't the same as what Apple uses. And in fact, in a lot of newer MacBooks, there's a dark gray thermal compound that they use. And this is actually really good stuff. Inside that thermal compound, there are little beads of aluminum oxide that help with heat transfer and dissipation. These are actually really, really high quality, and it's hard to find those materials in a lot of over-the-counter thermal paste. So really, if you have one of those newer Macs, you should just leave it alone. Now finally today, I want to talk about usability, because even if you do everything right, you're not using a hard shell case, you're maintaining your battery, you might still find that over a couple of years, the computer just starts to feel a little bit slower. And even with Apple Silicon stuff where you know it's got plenty of power. Well, fortunately, modern operating systems are pretty good at regulating themselves. But as with any laptop, clutter can be a major source of congestion. So leaving a ton of apps open all the time, running with your SSD at completely full capacity, or leaving a laptop powered on and skipping software updates can all end up leaving a feeling of being bogged down. I would recommend at least once a week, close all your applications and restart your computer. Try to install software updates when you can as well. And especially on Macs with 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage, keeping a clean SSD is crucial. There's nothing more frustrating than a really full SSD, and it can also make your computer run slower. Not to mention if you have 8 or 16 gigabytes of unified memory and it wants to use your SSD for swap and you're all completely full, well, it's not gonna be able to do that. So definitely keep your SSD clean. I would try to keep at least 50 gigabytes free if at all possible. I know that might be tricky on some people that have 128 gigabyte Macs out there, but try to do that as much as possible because it does genuinely make a difference. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below if there's any myths that you might have had busted or any tips that you might have taken away to use for the future. I think especially these new Apple Silicon Macs are going to be extremely long-lived devices, and if you take care of it, I could foresee them lasting 10 or even 15 years. So thanks again for watching, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.